Hi guys. Thank you for coming today. I'm Elijah. I'm your SU president, or at least until July, and soon I will be a free man out there. But thank you for coming. Thank you for putting yourselves forward. That's a very brave thing to do. I wish you all best of luck. So for question time today, a few quick things. You will all have a minute to introduce yourselves, and someone there will hopefully put a 10-second sign up when 10 seconds are left, and I will have to cut you short if you kind of go beyond 1 minute. And I'll just give you, and then we will have a question from Bor, the student newspaper, and the question from Raw, Radio Warwick, and we will go in order. 1 minute for question again. I will just run you through the order. So if you want to go for a break at any time, an excess break, just feel free to leave and just come back in. And I'll just read you the order so you know when your turn is going to be. So at 5:05 we're going to have sorry, my introduction's done. So at 10 past we will have widening participation officer candidates. At half past we will have ethics and environment officer candidates. At 5:50 we're going to have women's officer candidates, and at 6:10 there's a scheduled access break, but feel free to have a break if you want any time. At 6:20 we would have ethnic minority officer candidates. 6:30 we would have LGBTQIA plus officer candidates. At Yeah, that's, and we would conclude with LGBTQIA plus officers. Hopefully we will finish by 6:40 or 7:22. Yeah. Should we start? So can we have candidates for widening participation officer? The names are Eden Al Hashahar, Fath, if I'm pronouncing it right, Humera, and Mia, sorry. Yeah, please. Sorry, I forgot to mention, please come here. Sorry.
It's just us three, so it's
Oh,
us
okay.
male.
Oh, that's fine. I didn't realise.
Nice sweater.
Thank you.
So we're batting together, right?
Faff, Maffy, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Do we still get 1 minute?
Sorry. No, I think. Well, that's a good question. Technical question.
Fantastic.
I think 1 minute and 30 seconds. No, still 1 minute, I think, because you're running together.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it was just a 1 minute.
yeah, just
Fine.
sorry. So I think we have Mia and Fath and Mafi. You're running together, so we have 2 candidates, but 3 people. Like so yeah, 1 minute introductions. If we start from you, Mia, and then we come to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Mia. I'm a Warwick scholar from Coventry and I'm running for Widening Participation Officer, as you all know. The reason I'm running is so that I can make sure that widening participation isn't seen as an afterthought in our uni, and it's not a diversity quota. I want widening participation students to be seen, I want them to be represented, and especially coming from Coventry, I found that my experience here has been, well, where people are kind of very much judging from where you came from. They're putting their own judgments onto like that place. I've had a lot of students tell me that they're scared to go in there, and they seem quite negligent of the ways I've like still made it into the university on a scholarship even. And even though I get these benefits by having a scholarship, not everyone does, and I want to make widening participation benefits accessible to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Should we hear 1 minute introduction from you?
Do you want to do 30 seconds each?
Yeah, come on.
Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I'm Maffy. I'm from Bradford. And as again, I'm running for Wine Participation Officer with this guy. And one of the big things which made me want to run for this role specifically, I was going to run regardless. WP is very misunderstood. It's seen as like Mia said, like an afterthought. And it's one of the things I want people to be more educated on it, because it's not just like you come from a certain area. There's a lot more to it, and I think a lot of students generally don't know what it is.
Hello there, I'm Firth. I'm currently a year 3 PPL student. I'm estranged like Matthew, and another reason why we are running together is because with widening participation, it is hugely misunderstood. If I had to define it quickly, the university officially says that it is to improve access or opportunities for people from deprived backgrounds. And in our case, it could mean being local and therefore from a low income background, or even like temporarily homeless, like we were made.
Thank you both. Should we should we get the question from board now?
Michael, our question is, what do you think is the biggest barrier facing widening participation students at work today, and how would you address this?
Should we reverse the order? You guys go first, and then me. Okay.
Do you want to do 30-30?
It's up to you.
Fine. Well, in terms of a day-to-day basis, it's financial, as in for widening participation students. But you could say for any role, like, oh, I plan to pledge costs to lower. Ultimately, in terms of like a systemic thing, because widening participation isn't just like giving a bursary and just calling it a day. Sure, it helps, but the problem is you're dealing with a lack of awareness and education for everyone else. It is more, people don't understand what widening participation is, and that's part of the mystery surrounding it.
To elaborate on that a little more, one of the things that we wanted to do was to create we called it a handbook. It's kind of a 101 basically on everything WP, and it would give people like contacts in our department. It would give anywhere in the university, so life cycle team is a big one to deal with specifically, well, not specifically, but mainly estrangement care experience, but also a lot of other places in university. Student funding is a big one with like Warwick Bursary, which a lot of people are in receipt of.
Thank you, Mia.
Though I think it's hard to single out a single main issue facing widened participation students. I think after speaking to a lot of like widened participation students, I would say it's time. Widened participation students often struggle to balance part-time jobs, extensive travel because of that, and also like catching up on work that other people might be more familiar with or seem easier to them. I know for me is that when I got to uni, I had to learn to reference entirely from scratch, and the resources on that weren't exactly helpful because I was not familiar with academic language, and that is something that stays with you as you go on throughout the uni. So I think that by having resources to be able to manage that time, even having things in one place, things where you can get to or seek out support, or just finding other people facing the same challenges, I feel like that is something that is very important to be able to provide widened participation students with.
Thank you, Rob.
Students from widening participation backgrounds can also struggle on leaving university, especially going into the cutthroat employment market. How do you think the SU can best support these students in kickstarting their careers?
If we flip it around, Mia, you go first this time.
I think that, for one, letting students gain work experience on campus and having widening participation like experience days. I'm aware that some do exist, but materially, they end up being like less beneficial, or people don't have the skills or connections that others are able to make. And I think that for widening participation students to be able to go out into the world prepared, obviously there's always going to be this like level of challenge where you come from is going to define you for the rest of your life. But I feel like when the SU can help by giving people the resources to be able to flourish here. They can provide people with study sessions, ways for them to catch up. They can give them ways to expand not just on their education. I find a lot of widening participation students are only very focused on education and neglect being part of student life. And I think that expand on this can help them.
Thank you. You.
Take it. Or...
Yeah, you can take it.
It's sort of compounding onto everything else that we've already faced to get here. So at least for me, being a stranger, I know like when I graduate, I'm not going to have a home to move into or a safety net, and as a result, my issues only just get worse and worse from there. It ultimately means getting the ball rolling early, because so many people who are widening participation or could be widening participation won't understand that they are like eligible for such support, such like the workwear wardrobe, which is in the Student Opportunity Hub. We get free clothing because of that, but that's just not all. It's like basically we need to involve them in the community that makes them feel welcome, and as a result, it will be able to circulate those resources and opportunities better. Basically, what Mia's saying, but start it from even earlier, because if you're leaving university and you're in crisis point, there's not really much that can be done, both from us as the SU or like a widening participation officer perspective, and also at the same time, there's much that would plug the gap in the sense of the support you've received up to that point.
I think generally the SU can better advertise the services that the university already offers.
Thank you both. So I was told we have a bit of time, so you can get questions from the floor. If any questions?
Didn't you have another question from Raw?
I've got a question if you want me to ask it.
Yeah, sure.
Some students might find there to be some stigma associated with accessing support from the WP network. As an SU representative, what do you think is the best way to combat this?
I think stigma is always going to exist, and as for as long as classism and other types of discrimination exist, stigma will always exist. And I think the SU as a whole is, to put it in like one word, it's education. Students need a better understanding of what WP is, why it is. Not everyone's born into the lap of luxury, and some people have like unforeseen circumstances which happen in their life which force them into WP.
On top of education, it's not just like 1 or 2 workshops. It's rather, no, we need basically this giant guide of being like, this is exactly what we're going through, or this is what we could go through. This is ways like you can know a bit more how to support us. All of us, which is an estranged charity, basically have this giant guide for our loved ones. Obviously, it's facing estranged, so it's a much more serious issue.
Okay,
But but adapting it so that everyone here, like not just anyone who's WP, but people who are just a little bit curious, or even personal tutors, letting them read it and getting up to scratch is ultimately the way to go on it.
Thank you, Mia.
I think that making these resources accessible to everybody, like it might sound counterintuitive at first, but a lot of people are afraid to access it because they're worried it will single them out. And if you make it accessible to everyone, you improve everyone's student life, and the people who go out of their way to get it are going to be the ones who really need it anyway. So I think that that's like a way to start. If you stop having it framed almost as like a stigmatizing issue, just have it as a resource available. And another thing is that that is what I try to exemplify in my policies, that it's not only going to benefit widening participation, it will have a positive impact on everybody. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. If there's no more questions, thank you. Round of applause for our wonderful widening participation.
I was wondering if the ball was going to ask. Oh, no. That was the second question from the ball, but yeah.
And
No, I was just saying that was the second question from the ball. But only if you want to ask it. Yeah.
no, sorry, this is fine. I got the signal from behind there, so sorry. Not me.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, guys. Thanks. Can we have our ethics and environment officer candidates? And the names are Lara, Teria, Marilu. Please correct me if I'm pronouncing the names wrong. Mariam Ahmed and Taran. Philip Naora and Shenji-yo.
Oh my god, we do. You're Conan's friend, right? Conan's friend too. Oh my god. How are you? What's up? Oh, I'm so glad to see you here. Oh my god. Yeah, we're too bad. I didn't recognize you. Hi, nice to meet you.
Thank you, guys. So if we start with that side, 1 minute introductions, and then we will get the questions from Borno.
Hello, I'm Phil. I'm running to be your environmental and ethics officer, and I'm a first year history and politics student, environmental activist, and community volunteer. I volunteered and helped organise environmental and community events around my local area in West London, and I've protested against far-right riots in Brentford and Walthamstow during the 2024 riots. And I bring this up because I aim to bring this level of care from my local community to this community here, our community here. And I want to use this position of environmental and ethics officer to create a healthy, environmentally friendly and ethical collective. I want more rewilding programs, more local produce, and more awareness and art programs, and a better waste management system. And these are how I see us using our environment to bring our community together. After all, community and environment do go hand in hand. If you want to see a greener, happier, and stronger community, vote Phil for EO.
Thank you. Could we hear from you next?
Sustainable development has 3 pillars: environmental, social, and economic. Hi, my name is Lara. I'm an activist. I have worked for 4 NGOs in my entire life. I have led so many community projects in my school and some research projects in my local wetland in Mexico. I am here in this university because through all of my efforts, I have never stopped fighting for a fairer, a better and more sustainable future. My campaign focuses on waste management, student engagement, that includes student opportunities for all of you, and circular economy. I intend to make use of all the experience that I have gathered over the years to bring our student community to a new level. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Laura.
Hello everyone, I'm Marilu, I'm from Cyprus, and I'm a first year PPL student. Even though I'm a PPL student, I did biology A-level, so not only I know about the law part, the philosophy, ethics is my favorite, Kant lover, for example. I have done biology, and I'm a bit familiar with economics as well. A little bit about me that you don't know through my manifesto, I'm doing a startup company right now. I'm working with a few professors from my country. We're using satellite imagery for environmental legal cases. So right now I'm working with a professor in AI and ethics. We're doing the AI, and I'm gonna add a few, and well, yeah, anyways, I'm not gonna talk about this a lot, sorry. I am a part of work volunteers, bone marrow volunteers as well. And I'm just really, really, really passionate about global sustainable development, and what I want to do for my master's is sustainability, and then just go into that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mariam. I'm a first year liberal arts with GSC student. I'm co-running with Taryn, who unfortunately couldn't make it. But collectively, we're reps for 6 societies, including Warwick Greens and Climate Justice. In terms of my own experience, I've led my own Nature Connection campaign, and Taryn is a SU Sustainability Forum member. That's an elected role, by the way. We pledge to hold the university accountable, amplify student voice, and make the campus more beautiful. Just a quick summary of what we want to do in detail. We want to push the university to a more ethical investment portfolio. We really want to encourage students to use the 5K SU Sustainability Fund, and we want to make our campus waste-free.
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm a 3rd year maths and stats student, so slightly different from these guys. Let me tell you a story. My first role, it was at the Professor Lord Batacari building, the first building you see on campus. I went there, I was doing data analytics on their 500 different utility meters. And what did I find? I found that during COVID, during lockdown, all of their heating was on 24/7, weekends included, when everything was shut down. It was completely unimaginable. And these stakeholders, they didn't care whatsoever because they could just fund it. From that experience, I saved £150,000 every single year based on my plan. And also carbon emissions were 300 UK average households. That's a whole village saved every year. I am the only one that has the real experience working directly with estates teams on campus, WMG facilities and third-party stakeholders. And I will deliver the change that is desperately needed on campus. Thank you.
Thank you. So if we have the question from Raw first this time.
In a cost of living crisis, how do you propose students find a balance between shopping economically whilst also trying to be sustainable? What role do you think the SU has in supporting students with this?
If we start from you, Jim, this time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so affordability is, of course, a significant concern for a vast majority of students, and it can be increasingly difficult to make the sustainable choices that we want everyone to make. In terms of how I would support that, I would look to expand the product ranges available on campus, whether it's more sustainable food options or plant-based options, to add both variety and also an attempt to decrease the cost. And also, I would look to promote various different initiatives, such as the Green Rewards app, where members can claim things like reduced costs on curiosity, free drinks tokens, so everyone can be sustainable whilst doing their normal daily lives. It's really important that we provide both information and the action from the SU in order to enable that change to make it more convenient, cheaper, and easier for students to make the right choice.
Thank you, Mary.
I second everything you just said. Some of our points are also very similar, plant-based, more plant-based options, and also there was something else in there, but I forgot now. We really don't want cost to be a barrier. We also want action and more information. Everything we propose to do is aimed at improving students' experiences and improving their relationship with the environment. So we want more plant-based options. We want to amplify usage of the pre-existing community fridge. We want to expand the free breakfast club. We also want more sustainability focused SU events. So things like upcycling workshops, gardening classes, plant-based cooking, things like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
So first and foremost, I will push to embed the values of the Forge and Solidarity theme of the National Liberation Conference of 2026 into the union's own internal administrative and employment practices, ensuring that our leadership reflects these ethical practices. I will push for the totem discount card to specifically highlight and expand deals on sustainable and ethical brands. I will integrate sustainability and ethical procurement directly into the mandates for food and drink and societies and sports to ensure green options in the SU outlets remain competitively priced. And I will work to align ethical procedures with existing welfare, health, and well-being and cost of living support to promote affordable, ethical options as a standard for all students. And lastly, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm good with
It's
that.
2 minutes.
Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you, Lara.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, so one of the pillars of my campaign is circular economy. So I have this really cool initiative that we actually did back in my high school in Mexico. That it's basically called a trueque market, which is also connected to waste management because it's all about recycling. So how does this work? You bring your paper, you bring your cardboard, and we will organize with local producers to, in return of let's say like 7 kilograms of recycled paper, we can give you like a card and you can get like vegetables out of it. So that way, not only do we encourage local production, also students eating healthier, more vegetables and fruits, like basically just in exchange for paper, but we also encourage waste management, and that way we can like tackle the intersectionality of the issue.
Thank you, Finn.
Sustainable food is and affordability is absolutely core to what I want to bring to this university. You know, affordability is a major problem now, and so many of us here already struggle with our finances. You know, I want to propose more local produce uses that the university already has, possibly even introduce and pilot a monthly farmers market where people can go and buy groceries directly from farmers here. But I don't think that's necessarily, you know, that's sustainability. I don't necessarily think that that's immediately going to cause price hikes. We will, of course, as an environmental and ethics officer and part of the union, we will negotiate, and we have a massive market here of students. They, of course, these people who will want to work with us for local produce and sustainable food will probably, you know, they will work with us to ensure affordable prices for all students to enjoy local produce and sustainable produce.
Thank you. My friends at board.
Would you seek to prioritise environmental campaigns within the university or broader political advocacy?
If we start from you first.
Yeah, I mean, I think. I think. So, can you repeat the question?
Would you seek to prioritise environmental campaigning within the university before the political angles?
I think both go hand in hand. As a student union, after all, we're a union of students. We represent our values. We represent student values, and many of us share similar political, environmental values. But even if we have our divides on political issues, that won't stop the fact that I want to promote. Really want to promote environmental issues. I think despite where you fall down the political spectrum, I'm still going to work with you. I'm still going to take in students' advice and problems and their concerns, and I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to listen to all the students here, regardless of where they stand. Environment is absolutely central to this role, and politics shouldn't divide us.
Thank you. Lara?
Yeah, so one of the strongest proposal of my campaign is to bring the ELCOI to Warwick. Now, what is an ELCOI? It's a local conference of youth that is organized by UNGO in each country every single year. The UK has not had an ELCOI since 2019, and I was part of the organizing committee 2 years in a row for the ELCOI back in my country. So these are spaces where all students and people from all over the country can come here and debate about environmental subjects. We can have workshops in there and we can talk. It is from a political standpoint, but it's also very focused on environmental sustainability. And that way we can all focus on creating new policies and bringing new ideas to the table so that this intellectual debate can keep on going.
Thank you.
I really believe that politics and environment go hand in hand. Yet, there are some initiatives that one may do that I can do that are more political or more sustainable. But, anyways, now in everyday life, when you see politics, when you see manifestos, when you look at any political initiatives, of course, the environment and the ethics, which can include environmental ethics or just being ethical as in human rights or whatever, should be considered. So I believe with the question that you asked, I feel like there's no way to kind of identify one with the other to kind of distinguish them. I feel like all of them they come hand in hand. So yeah.
Thank you.
In terms of environmental campaigning, me and Taryn collectively have tons of experience with us being in Warwick Greens and me being in part of Climate Justice Society. We have loads of experience canvassing and enacting change within the university. From our experience, I do believe we have the skills to support collective student action and demand university accountability. We feel really strongly about creating more opportunities for students to engage with broader political advocacy, and we really want to ensure students feel supported in this. One of our ideas is a university-wide sustainability newsletter. So we're going to have campaign-related things, but also volunteering opportunities with local political organizations involved in sustainability. In general, we do want more SU nature connection and protection campaigns. So we do want to focus on sustainability, but we also want to make broader make opportunities for broader political advocacy.
Thank you.
I want to separate politics from the environment because I don't think that they're fully related. Because let's take, for example, I went to the urinals in the building. One of them was leaking. Who's going to improve the reporting channels? I've worked in these institutions, the civil service. I've worked on what you might call political things. Two-child benefit cap, £1 billion crisis and resilience fund to households launching this April. But who is going to be the one to analyse the data, to turn off the lights on the Lord Battercarrier building and turn on the lights near Sherborne? Who's going to do that? It's all fun to have ideas and things, but we need real change, real implementation. I've the experience, the skills to challenge the university. I've worked with the estates teams. I know what needs to be done. And ultimately, having conferences is fun and all, but we need real change now. And that's exactly what I will bring to the table.
Thank you. Are there any burning questions on the floor? Or do you want to do a second question? You didn't get a chance to ask.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Would you seek to prioritise? Oh, sorry. What campaigns would you introduce to help improve sustainability in SU-run outlets like the Dirty Duck and Curiosity?
Should we start from here?
Yeah, sure. So there's the usual things: reusable cups, too good to go to reduce food waste, Green Rewards app. I'm going to launch a new policy right now. The Warwick Print Shop. Did you know that it's cheaper to print 250 pages of colour A4 than 168? It's cheaper to print so much more, a third more, and immediately discard it for your society because the pricing is balked. No one cares about it. No one looks at the numbers, they discuss ideas. But ultimately, who's going to actually go down, look in the numbers, work with the stakeholders, pierce the institutional veil, and bring transparency to the SU's operations? What we need is bold change and real impact. And that's exactly what I will bring: real impact to the SU and to the university. Thank you.
Thank you, Marion.
One of our main manifesto points is making the campus more beautiful and making our spaces more sustainable. So in terms of SU run, is it food outlets? Okay, SU run outlets. We want more plant-based produce. We want more seasonal, in-season produce. We want, no plastic cups. We also want smaller portions in an effort to combat food waste. Just to note, you can ask for more food at no cost. But Taryn has actually been working with the Warwick Food Group, and they're in charge of sorting out food for the outlets. And he's actually lobbying for more plant-based options, which is going really well. There's actually a pilot test running in Pandamami. Yes. So essentially, we want to center students' choice and provide ample food opportunities, but we do think the default should be sustainable. Yeah.
Thank you, Marion.
One of my main ideas is to establish a sort of, I haven't written it in my manifesto, but also to establish sort of affordable farmers market idea. So by secure a mandate that proves students' demands for low-cost produce, I will coordinate directly with the food and drink and eating and drinking departments, securing a campus location for a regular market that cuts our supermarket markups, providing the affordable, ethical options. The other thing that I have in mind right now as I'm speaking to you is when you go to Pret at 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m., some of the workers there may give you some food that may go bad, but that's not a policy set in Pret. So, for example, in Padamama, we have the too good to go bags. When you order, they have the too good to go bags. But why does that not happen in Pret, which is the main cafe / food place?
Thank you, Lara.
Thank you. First of all, I just would like to address that it's extremely disrespectful to think that all of the candidates here do not have the experience nor the capacity to drive forward real action. I think we're all here very capable. And speaking about that, I also have a very strong focus on food waste. I think that food waste is something that shows the inefficiency in a lot of our systems. I want to drive forward cooperational change, and I think that as of right now, I do not have the solution already thought and planned out, because I feel like if I were to be the environmental and ethics officer, I would like to go directly to the people that run those establishments to collaborate and create a solution that can tackle food waste and also waste in general.
Thank you.
So, I'd first like to, share the comments that I've been said before. Too good to go. I love using that app. I love going to Pandamami and getting affordable meals. I think that should be spread across other student union venues like the Duck, and alongside the food about food waste. I want to publish more information about how much food we're wasting. It's a serious problem. Alongside other stuff like getting rid of plastic cups and stuff like that, I want to, and of course plant-based options. I want to get feedback from students who actively who consistently use our venues and our food outlets, and use that data to advocate for change that show that there is demand for more sustainable food options at the university. Alongside that, I want to even expand that to the university, to lobby for the university to adapt these sustainable food policies, but that's more of a lobbying policy.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, guys. Winning, losing is part of election, but let's hope everyone has a great experience running. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again, guys. Thanks. Can we have candidates for women's officer next, please? Isabella Link, Polly Davies, Ruchi Tiku, and Zoe Holloway. Please correct me if I'm pronouncing the names wrong.
No, you're right. Oh, that's full. Someone hasn't arrived, I don't think.
Thank you, guys. Should we start with the 1-minute introductions? Should we start from this side? That's fine.
Hi, I'm Polly. I'm a second year creative writing and English literature student, and I'm very passionate about this role because I feel like the women on campus do get a sufficient amount of needs, but I feel like there could be so much more that could be put into the celebration of women's women's necessities, and also safety on campus for women, including lighting and anti-spiking prevention. I also think that celebrating women should be much more incorporated into the university, especially on Women's Week and all throughout the year, because I feel like women aren't appreciated enough at this university.
Thank you, Polly.
Hi, I'm Zoe Holloway. I'm second year theatre studies student. You should vote for me because I've used report and support and everything that involves. I've been through that experience. Have experience in leading discussion groups and chairing forums. I want to represent the voices of women, trans women, and non-binary students. I will take a stand against racism, homophobia, transphobia, and all forms of discrimination and sexism. I have a good connection with Anti-Sexism Society, Left Sock, Circuit, Sustainable Clothing Society, Drama Society, and History Society. I also have a good working relationship with the person in charge of campus security at the SU. I want to continue the End Period Poverty campaign on campus, and I want to change the training for execs. And you should vote for me because I really, really care about representing the voices of all the women at work.
Thank you, Zoe.
Hi, so I'm Isabella, and I think you should vote for me because women on this campus face so many more barriers to their academic lives, their social lives, physical lives, and mental lives than men do. And we aren't given solutions to that. We're given symbolic facades of help, such as period poverty. We're given free tampons, but it ignores how some women with severe mental conditions have to pay up to £200 a month for those issues, not including prescription charges, and there's no help given to them for that. There's no mental health fund, despite there being many other funds, like a sports kit fund, transgender funding fund, there's loads of other funds, but none for mental health. And with report and support, so many women use that, and yet there's no help given to them at all. Their claims are pushed under, they are left to struggle by themselves, there's no one-to-one follow-up afterwards. And I mean, nationally, 60% of women who report rape or sexual harassment, those claims are just pushed under, and this needs to change, and I will try and fix that.
Thank you. Question from the row?
As an SU officer, do you believe it is your responsibility to ensure gender equality within student societies across campus? And if so, how do you plan on achieving these?
Should we start from it?
Well, obviously, I mean, gender equality in some societies is non-existent. For example, computer science society, that's completely run by men, or a conservative society, that's only 3 women in that entire society, and that's obviously not proportional to the rest of the campus. But how are we going to address that? Well, obviously, something needs to be done about misogyny training. So many different societies have massive misogyny, which is not addressed. And there's no mandatory training for exec on how to combat that. I think all execs should be forced to go through, not forced, but made to go through this misogyny training to enable them to better understand how to support female members of our societies. But whether it's gender equality or gender equity in the society we need to promote is hard to decipher between, because equity, well, that would mean trying to have greater split of gender on execs, and that's hard to enforce. So whether we can really ever bring about equity is rather questionable.
Thank you. Sorry.
I've written something down. I want societies to be run more equitably and to be fairer. So to do that, I want to update the mandatory training that student council and student officers and society execs have to take on their intake. I will ensure that information on recognising and reporting gender bias within societies and courses is included, and update the information on recognising harassment and the impact of being an active bystander. And I want to ensure women's safety on campus. I want to promote report and support and make it clear to the women on campus that it can be anonymous and that you can go through all that process anonymously, and the support that you can get is worth it in the end. And for the training, I want student execs, especially course-based, to be able to recognise gender bias and know how to report that and know what's going to happen with that.
Thank you.
For societies, I think that with my position, I think that tackling with societies and working with societies gains access to all of the women on campus. So every different type of women on campus, which I think is really important in my position. I would like to adopt a board, so of all of the exec or primary positions of exec of women's societies or women's officers in societies can be part of it, so that I can interact with them and I can work with them on how their society, the women in their societies, can have a better time at this university. I appreciate that not every society has a women's officer. This is something that I want to change, because I want every society to feel validated within with the women within their society to feel validated. Sorry.
Thank you. Thanks, Roy. Laura.
Do you think the SU is doing enough to support female students who feel unsafe on campus and in Coventry and Edmonton Spa? And if not, what more could be done?
There could be, like I said earlier, lighting is a specific issue that I think affects women's safety on campus. I feel like in certain areas of campus there is a lack of lighting, and safer routes on campus, which I would like to change and make sure that women feel safe when they're on campus at night. I also want to infiltrate anti-spiking preventions, so that means my idea is having drink covers that are affordable, accessible and reusable plus adjustable in every bar across the SU and the surrounding areas on campus, so that every woman can have access to spiking prevention and also just feel comfortable when they are going out and enjoying themselves in the university. I also want to infiltrate Ask for Angela, more training on Ask for Angela around the university.
Thank you. Zoe?
I want to introduce a new initiative called Tell Me About It, so that women can come to me and we can have forums and discussions so they can bring their issues to me. Because although I understand what it's like to be a woman on campus and to be in POP and to be in the SU, to be walking home, I can't speak for every single woman's experience. So I'd like people to be able to bring those issues forward to me, and so then I can raise it for them. And I specifically, I want links to report and support to be sent to people through their email from the SU when you buy like a pop ticket or a ticket to an SU event. And I would like to change the way that the SU runs report and support, because after someone reports an incident on report and support, there is a period of time where that person is notified and you are unsafe for a while. So I would like to change that and make sure that women feel supported throughout the whole process of reporting an incident.
Thank you, Isabella.
Well, women are not made to be made to feel safe on campus at all. I mean, there's obviously the issue of spiking, which hasn't been addressed properly yet. There's been so many campaigns saying anti-spiking mechanisms being introduced, they're not. They never are. And that's a massive issue. I think free drink covers should be provided of every bar, because you know, to make women pay for their drink covers, that's saying women have to pay for safety, and that is disgraceful. That should not be something we're supporting. And on this as well, circling. So many societies that have these misogynistic views to women circle off campus, which isn't enforced by has no SNU officers enforcing it to make sure nothing is happening to people in what circles, and that's a massive issue. I think campus security should be sent to these places where circles are circling on campus to avoid being regulated, to enable women to feel safer on that out.
Thank you. Questions from the floor? So I see two hands. Are you first?
So, of course, all of the solutions are focused towards women, but we would be blind to notice that there's a lot of like men that are very misogynistic on campus. So, what are your proposals to like discourage that misogyny?
Should we start from Zoe this time?
Oh, sure. I think that the training that male students have when they're like they become an exec member of a society, I think having training in that is very important. Obviously, these really misogynistic men might not listen to that. That might not matter to them. But I think that everyone in a society who's on the exec should have training in recognizing that gender bias. So if you're a social sec of a society and you notice that someone else in another society is being sexist, is being misogynistic, knowing how to report that and knowing when to report that is the main thing.
Thank you. Polly,
I also agree with what Zoe has said. I also think that there should be way more training within societies on report and support. And also, I believe that there should be more recognition in trainings in the signs of abuse or anything like a misogyny or sexist language or anything of uncomfortable situations that women might be put in. I think that it is their responsibility as an exec member to follow through and to treat their women, even though they might be misogynistic, they still have a responsibility to look after the women in their society. Otherwise, they are not fulfilling their campaign ideals. So I think that a lot of training should be infiltrated in, especially with Ask for Angela and Report and Support and Nightline. I think that should be way more incorporated in societies.
thank you.
I think we're looking at this wrong. I think we're not looking at all the cause of this, why men are becoming misogynistic. Recently, for Politics News Group, I researched an article into Reform the UK Student Wing, and what a lot of the male members are saying was that they are becoming misogynistic, they're having this hateful towards women because that's what they call the New Woke Order. They feel like they've been left behind. And so if we have policies to try and prevent men from getting radicalised on campus, we can enable misogyny to be lessened. But also, I do think there are women on campus who do also enable these misogynistic views of men. They enable women to become harmed by men with these misogynistic views, and they aren't fighting against it. So I think it's an issue that both genders have to look at, and we need to ensure that this radicalisation of men becoming extreme misogynists has to be stopped. We can't just talk about exec training to recognise it. We need to be talking about exec training to prevent it before it becomes an issue.
Thank you, Isabella. There was a question from the back.
So like with the rise of the far right, such as the UK, in this country, how will you ensure that that doesn't cause a detrimental impact on our rights and campus?
Should we start from Isabella this time?
So I think it's hard to attribute Reform UK to the far right. The far right refers to groups like Britain First, EEDL, dangerous groups that cause harm. I mean, obviously, I'm known as a toy racer on campus. It's no secret that I'm right-wing myself, but I don't think it's going to cause harm. I think the harm is when you oppress them, when you remove them, because then they become dangerous, when they start to fight against people, then they start to cause issues on campus. So, I mean, I've recently come across something sent to me that working against hate are going to post, boycotting Reform UK's society on campus. I don't think there's such an answer. I think the answer is working with these societies to ensure they have things in place to stop this suddenly happening, to have training in their exec to ensure they aren't going to cause issues for women on campus.
Thank you. Zoe.
I obviously believe that all of the society execs should have the exact same training. I'm very left wing myself, and I have very strong connections with most of the left wing societies on campus and the environmental societies on campus. I think it's hard because my goal as women's officer would be to make connections with Warwick Anti-Sexism Society, who are more left-wing leaning. I would want to create networking events for women that can come to that. My focus would be on uplifting women and allowing them spaces to come away from the misogynistic men or the far right that are oppressing them, spaces to talk, share their issues, be uplifted by other women, rather than focusing on educating all of the men, because that is not my role. My role is to support the voices of women.
Thank you, Zoe.
Similar to Zoe, I believe that if there is a rise in far right views on women, then I believe that what I would like to do is, with my board, I would like to liaise with the societies of the women to share our brilliance as women and try and promote it in events. So I would like to have events where the women feel confident within themselves and celebrate womanhood and identity, and remember that this is really important, and that being a woman at Warwick is what shapes the identity of Warwick. And I feel like that is very important to Warwick's identity and also our identity as women. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. A huge round of applause for our candidates for coming up with that. Thank you, guys. Can we have the candidates for access break? Yeah. Do we want an access break? Like, raise your hands if you want access break. Raise your hands if you're gonna come back after an access break. Should we be back by 6:10? Or to those who came back, those who didn't, I wish them best of luck. Could we have the candidates for ethnic minority officer? The names of the candidates are Safia Patel, Zara Tagla, and Zainab ul Haq. So, just to quickly repeat, 1 minute introduction, you will see a sign there when 10 seconds are left. And should we start with this side, with you?
Sure. Should I just start?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Zainab, and obviously I'm applying for Ethnic Minorities Officer. And I think I want to start with the main reason why I'm applying is because I believe that all ethnic minorities in Warwick should have a voice and a platform to make sure that their voice is heard. And I kind of want to be that person for those people because I have experience in making sure that people's voices are heard, experience in activism, ensuring that like the liberation of ethnic minorities, like especially in Palestine or Sudan, like our uni is complicit in a lot of like the genocides going on, and a lot of like the communities in this uni are the ones that suffer from it. So I kind of want to make sure that they have a platform where they are allowed to ensure that their voices are being heard in this SU, in this uni, and that is one of the main reasons why I'm applying. Some of my main pledges is kind of making sure that international students have information sessions so that they know their rights too. So thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia Patel, and as you know, I'm studying for the next year's Ethnic Minority Officer. A little bit about me is that I'm a first year Politics International Studies student, and I have a love for debating and international politics, which goes well with my degree. The reason that I really want to run for this role, because representation is so important to me, whether externally through movies and TV shows, or even in politics, but also here at uni, being a first year student and seeing exec members that I can identify with, or events that have cultural awareness, such as Ramadan or Holi. A little change or recognition can really go a long way. Outside of uni, I also volunteer with 2 youth charities, which brings the voices of like disproportionate children or like teenagers and help that next generation have a voice. In public policy and even like accessibility. And I would use these skills of representing the youth here at uni to represent ethnic minorities. And as my slogan says, for every culture, for every voice, and especially for you guys.
Thank you, Sophie. Could we get the question from Boer?
Hi guys. Our question is, with levels of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia still high across university campuses, what would you do to support communities facing this kind of abuse and hatred at Warwick?
Yeah, so I think firstly it's important to recognise why these kind of cases go on, and it's come from like ignorance and lack of understanding. And because of that, my main thought process would be education. And education would be a key part of this kind of response. I would work to introduce awareness sessions, workshops and talks to help students understand their differences, different communities, and potentially involving, for example, guest speakers or videos to try and build that cultural awareness across campus. And at the same time, it's also equally important that students who face anti-Semitism and or Islamophobia know that they're not alone in this, and that they're fully supported by the university community, fully supported by the SU. And I would work closely with the SU, societies or campus groups to ensure that the support systems are clearly communicated and easily accessible. I would also use the SU platforms such as social media to promote messages of respect, inclusion and community solidarity.
Thank you, Sophie.
I think kind of reading what Safia said, education is really important in this. A lot of like the hate stems from ignorance. And I would work with the Decolonize Collective, who are already trying to decolonize our curriculum, our education, our courses. Work with them to kind of get that education out of there. Again, you know, using the SU pages for social media. And also making sure that we are there for those who actually are on the brunt of Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. So, for example, report and support, I feel like a lot of people don't know about it, or it's like if you want to do anonymity, they say that like you can't go further with it, they just understand that there's an issue. I think it's important to make sure that people know that what we're doing for them is also being like actually helping towards them. So for example, I would have an annual ethnic minorities feedback report, so we can get feedback from the people to say, are we doing enough for you? Are you still feeling this hate around campus, and what can we do? Because I think they should also decide and have a voice. Thank you.
Thank you. Question from Raw.
The ethnic minorities officer often champions campaigns for representation, such as Black History Month and the Tackle Hate Project. If you were to be elected, what other campaigns would you look to promote?
Sana, if you could.
Yeah. So I think campaigns for like community togetherness is quite important. I know that we have, for example, Black History Month, Islamophobia Awareness Month, things like that, but they're secluded to months. I feel like we need to campaign for like things that are important for ethnic minorities throughout the year. People need to be aware of it throughout the year, because again, things like hate don't just happen on like, we'll have a month of like where we're really like ethnic minorities, and then the rest will be fine. Like, it doesn't work like that. So like campaigning for ethnic minorities shouldn't either. And alongside this kind of community togetherness, I was thinking of like a culture day, which is one of my main pledges, because with Culture Week in Warwick, the kind of different societies do their own little things, and then you kind of just experience culture. Whereas like a culture day that I'm proposing, you all come together on the piazza, you all have this shared culture, show your food off, have a little fashion show on the piazza. Like, I'd love to wear my own Desi outfit. Things like that is really nice. And yeah, but also I want to prioritize both future and past campaigns. I don't want past campaigns to fall through either.
Thank you. So,
Yeah, I feel like Zainab really hit the nail on the head with all the cultural awareness throughout the year, and not it just being kind of secluded into like a singular month. And I feel like the campaigns such as Black History Month and Tackle Hate, but we also need that broader representation throughout the whole year. As I said, one campaign that I'd like to push for is definitely better accessibility for food, especially halal and kosher food across campus, and it not just being limited. Because, for example, at the big Tesco's as well, you cannot get any raw halal or kosher meat. You have to get it in like a tiny section where it's pre-packed, and even then the qualities are really bad and quite low. And I feel like this kind of like the limitation of this really does impact the students, because if you can't eat on campus, where are you meant to eat, and you have to go home? I also want to promote shared cultural events across campus where students from different backgrounds can share their food, traditions and stories, such as like Zainab's Culture Day, because these kind of events create genuine culture exchange. And as we said about the ignorance and stuff, if there is that on campus, then people will be able to see it with their own eyes and therefore become more inclusive and open to it.
thank you. Questions from the floor? We have a bit of time. Do you want to?
Another one?
Yeah.
Ethnic minority students are not always represented in society execs. Do you think more work needs to be done to increase or even mandate ethnic minority representation on society execs?
Yeah, so I believe that representation in society leadership is so incredibly important, but I don't necessarily think that mandating quotas are the best solution. Instead, we should focus on the understanding on why ethnic minority students aren't standing for those roles and why they're less confident to run for these positions in the first place. For example, it could be, for example, confidence, access to information, or simply not knowing how to get into those roles of like leadership. So rather than forcing representation, I think the focus should be on closing that gap. One idea I propose is kind of running workshops and training sessions specifically aimed at helping ethnic minority students develop the skills and confidence needed to run society leadership roles. Things like writing a manifesto, delivering speeches, and understanding how society governance work. By giving students these tools and opportunities, we can empower ethnic minority students to step forward naturally and confidently into leadership positions rather than just being a quota.
Thank you.
I kind of reiterate what Safia says. I think that's also really important, but I also think education for the rest of the exec members and the rest of the society is equally important. So ensuring that exec members have training sessions, making sure that there isn't like an instilled hate in a particular society, which is why a lot of people wouldn't run, or that the exec isn't kind of so cliquey that you feel like you can't really get into it as an ethnic minority. So ensuring that we have these training sessions so that like people know that there is a safe space to apply for a society. A society is a community community, not just the exec team, and making sure that they know this. I also know that Rian, the previous ethnic minority officer, in his manifesto tried to have compulsory BAME officers in society. And I think along the lines of this, having like an ethnic minorities officer in particular like societies, enforcing this is important, because I know that we don't want to be a quota or anything, but our voices should still be heard, and we know that we are a minority here. So ensuring that we have ethnic minority officers working with the welfare officers in societies is very important.
Thank you. Thank you to our both candidates for minority officer. Can we have the candidates for LGBTQ plus officer? Willow Brown. I think they're not here, but thank you very much, guys. As I said earlier, really happy to see so many good candidates, and thank you for putting yourselves forward and participating in the democracy. I hope you have a fantastic experience and wish you all best of luck. Thank you for coming.